on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate you so much. Hey, we got a special episode, kind of by request. You know, a lot of you said, hey, Todd, I want to check out your micro shop, see what you got going on there. This is kind of like my home away from home. You know, I'm on a job site, working on log cabins or doing a remodel or whatever. Well, this is kind of where I go back and just kind of unwind a little bit. And or if I got to build some special projects for somebody. So let's check it out. All right, here we are in the secret lair. Here we are hanging out in the micro shop, and just kind of want to take you just around the shop just a little bit. You know, it's 350 something square feet. It's actually the kind of like the footprint of my master suite on my house, and it's just like the walkout portion of my basement. So it makes it real handy, so I can just like hop downstairs and come here and hang out a little bit and just build something cool and breathe in some sawdust. You know what I'm saying? Things that's kind of cool about my shop, you know, because it's kind of like man cave / micro shop. It's kind of reflects my personality a little bit. So it's all about woodworking and all about, you know, motorsports and drag racing and go-kart racing and stock car racing and, yeah, hanging out. So check this little deal out here. This was a sink that I built. A sink that I built out of an old wash tub, and just kind of wanted something different. I had one of those big white sinks that you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. I don't know, it just didn't fit. It's the whole feng shui. I wasn't getting the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So I just went in and just kind of cut this and put in the little sink trap in there. And as you can tell, I just kind of plumbed down from the with some PEX pipe, the cold and the hot, and fed them into this T right here. And of course it comes out with a 3/4 line right there. So you can see signs. Of course you always got to have a fire extinguisher. It's green. It's ready to go. Not that I've ever caught anything on fire or anything. And of course here's some old signs and everything. Barney Fife, dip it! Hey, here's a cool little project. This is when I was in Boy Scouts, 424. I made this little troop sign from a neighbor friend of mine down the street. And we just took some old pine wood, and he had one of these, like a router machine from, I think it was from Sears, and you kind of laid out the jig and it would cut all the numbers nice and neat. And then we just took a torch, and this was probably from the mid 70s or so, and this whole torching looks kind of coming back in vogue again, you know what I'm saying? So this is cool. This is, you know, it's an antique. Of course, some more old license plates and stuff like that, just kind of decorate the shop up. Here's a cool piece for you. Now, this was 1954. This was actually off of my grandfather's log truck. He had a sawmill. Hey, the original Sawdust Dude, Lonnie King. This was off of his log truck, and I found this one day when I was hunting in the woods, and came across an old, like, you know, scrap pile, and I started digging through it and found this plate, and it was kind of a cool thing to bring back some memories with my granddad. Well, as I've said many times before, you know, your shop, to me, I have stuff hanging around in my shop, and yeah, it picks up dust and all that stuff, but you know, for me, it just kind of brings back memories too. Here's an organizer case that was really well done. Here's a case of an organizer case, you know, and everything's properly labeled and everything. Some stuff you might need. And I wish I could take a lot of credit for it, but actually this is, I bought this off a friend of mine who passed away a couple years ago, and his wife was cleaning out his shop. And so, you know, I went over there to help her out, but also I wanted some memories of my old friend Doug that we did scouts together. And so every time I see this or I pull this out, I'm like, hey, thanks, Doug. So, you know, that's just another cool memory. Well, I told you I'm all about auto racing, and a few years back, and you'll see in my shop, there's 4 or 5 of these around. Probably about 4 or 5 years, years ago, I was at an auction, and they had all these like automotive cabinets coming through, and I really got a deal on them because they were about 35, 40 bucks a piece. Heck, you can't even buy the wood for 35 or 40 bucks a piece. And what's the cool part about it, it just looks good in my shop, so I had to buy them. There's just a whole bunch of assortment of screws, and I got some planes in here. You know, I know the guys have got all these fancy plane holders and all that stuff. They're kind of on display. I just put mine up here. Hey, here's something cool. I always say, you know, better skills for better results. That's what the Sawdust Dude really is all about. When I shoot one of these videos, I try to, you know, leave something or give you something that you can take and that will help you in what you do. Whether you're a hobbyist or you're a full-time professional, you know, better skills, better results. Years ago, I wanted to learn more about like fine woodworking, and been around it some, but not a whole lot. And I was just kind of searching online and some classes or opportunities around me, and I ran across this guy just down the road from me in the Blue Ridge Mountains who kind of offered private classes. And so I bought 2 days worth of his time. Turns out David Fink is a really, really talented luthier, somebody who builds instruments. And he was trained by James Krenov, who's a renowned furniture designer and builder. And one of the things that David taught me how to make was this plane. And it's called a Krenov plane. And this is really just a glue up. And here's the cool thing about that, because, and I use this, and I named him old Bubba here, Bubba the block plane. Cool thing about Bubba is that, you know, it's something that I use. I use old hand tools all the time down here at the shop. And I even take them on the job with me. And it's just, I get that satisfaction of using tools that really work. And there's nothing like an old tool. It's just so cool. But too, knowing that I made it, and that's what is kind of special to me. So say hello to Bubba, my little friend. Hey, here's another little thing. I have all kind of memories in my shop. I'll see something and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that time or whatever. Another time with David, I said, David, yeah, I want to teach me how to do like old school dovetails. You know, I can do it with a machine and all that stuff, but tell me how they used to do it like long time ago. So old world kind of woodworking. So David and I sat around, and this is my first ever Dovetail Joint. And I cut it out and just put it up here on my cabinets. And this was actually the box that I made that I never finished. You ever have projects like that? Yeah, me too. But here's the cool thing about it. Once again, better skills, better results. You know, some of that principle and some of the things that I learned that day, learning how to make original, old school dovetails, it's stuff that I carry on and use it on other projects that are real similar, but not exactly, but that really helps me out and gives you better results. I like that. Hey, here's some cabinets that I made right in the center here for my glue and different things like that. And old turkey call I made. I hear the turkeys coming. You know, and just so with Speedy Square and up top here, some more stuff on display. A little something I was teaching my son one day. His first ever mortise and tenon joint. Isn't that cute? Hand grenade. Hey, let's check this out. You know, sometimes, you know, we talk about, you know, that whole Harbor Freight thing comes around. You know, it's like, oh no, Harbor Freight. Oh. You know, sometimes people just get bent out of shape about Harbor Freight, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something. This is a Harbor Freight bench. I've used this thing for over 10 years. Got it from a good friend of mine. I was in Harbor Freight the other day, $150 $150 woodworking bench. You can't beat it. Now, if you want to build your own, that's cool too. But a lot of times, you know, time is money, money's time. I don't have time. And so, man, this thing has just been a lifesaver. Ain't nothing wrong with Harbor Freight. Another little idea here. Got stuff stored around. NGK tools. Kind of where I keep all my Craig stuff. Another memory from the past. Friends from Denmark. Vidas Bilking. All that. Guitar I made. Sawdust Dude guitar. Okay, here it is. I'm just like throwing it out there. Sawdust Dude's got clutter too. You know, this is like the catch-all thing. This bench was actually in my shop when I first got here, and I wasn't moving it. Just wasn't. This thing is so freaking heavy, but it holds so much stuff. Ain't no telling what's up there. All right, one of the things that you have to do when you have a shop, a small shop, whether it's a garage shop or a micro shop like this. My dad was so cool. When I was in middle school, my dad built my first shop. It was a 10 by 10 shed, and it had power running to it, and it was so cool. I had like a little jigsaw in there and a skill saw, and basically that was about it. My granddad's old framing square, and I built some cool stuff in that shop. It was awesome. But you know what? Start where you are. You don't have to have some big massive shop and spend mega bucks and all this other stuff. Guys, start where you are. Ladies, start where you are. Start woodworking. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot. Just get some basic tools. Get your little spot carved out. Get to work. Of course, here's my planer. I bought this off of Doug too. So it's cool. And I can unbolt it and take it to the work site if I ever need to use that. So, all right, you got to check this out because a lot of people have never seen these, never even heard of them. I got this from a friend who got this from a man that I used to work with occasionally, Mr. Holman, Jack Holman. And a buddy of mine, Philip, bought this when Jack passed away. And then Philip passed this down to me, and it's been such a blessing. It is a Inca 3-wheel Swedish made bandsaw, 105-inch blade, but the 3 wheels. You got to check this out. She plays for keeps. So here it is. All right, of course it's unplugged, 3-wheel bandsaw. Got a little tensioner back here for the blade. On the back side is how you adjust the wheel. It adjusts the tilt on the back side, so this wheel, so you can get it to ride in the center. It is getting kind of hard to find parts for this thing, and I've kind of asked around. Maybe if you know where I can get Inca 3-wheel. Now it's the Swedish version. So I think they make them in France or Italy or someplace now. But it's the green one. So anyway, but it's been a great bandsaw. Of course, got the love this thing. I mean, it's just so awesome. Does a great job. Of course, it's on casters. It's on rollers. All right, you got to check this piece out. This was an old air compressor that I had for my construction job. And a lot of times, if I didn't strap it down, it would roll around. It's one of the bad things about pancake air compressors. They roll real well, okay? Better than I can say real well, okay? They roll very well, okay? So it got all busted up. And so I put this, minus the duct tape, put this screen over it. But I had some old chair legs. And so I just kind of use this and some old casters. And so I made this so it will roll around. And just a spot for nails and for my nail gun. But I usually hang that like that. But that was all out of scraps, no money spent, and I like that, you know. Here's a Christmas present to me one time. I always wanted a good router table. And so I finally bought the Craig router table. The only thing, here it goes, it's the only time I'll say it. The only thing I don't like about this table, this guide here, and it might be me, I need to adjust it, but it's kind of hard to move, and you got to make sure you measure from right to left, both sides. Otherwise, you know, it kind of be beveled a little bit. But the upgrade was this here, and so that you can fine tune it and get down, I mean, to a 32nd. And that extra little attachment there, and I'll put a link to that in the description below, because that's like, woo, that's like money right there. What you talking about? Okay, folks, here we go. This is the world famous, this is what you've been staying tuned for. Here it is, the world famous Hula Girl CNC machine. Wow, wow. And the crowd goes crazy. I bought this CNC machine, and it was about $3,000, and it even came with this laser piece here. This thing, I bought it primarily to make signs to sell. I had, before the whole COVID thing, kind of like this sign I made years ago for Boy Scouts. Yeah, I'd make signs to sell in my shop, the Sawdust Dude's shop. And hopefully when this whole COVID thing kind of blows back over, I can get that cranked up again, because it was a lot of fun, and to meet people and to sell merchandise and things like that. But this thing is on the pricey side, you know, so, but like I said, my tools are like my employees. They got to make me money. Sometimes you get guys and they see technology in woodworking, they go, that ain't woodworking. That's cheating. You just hit a button, it does all the work for you. Please. I'm going to tell you, this thing kicks my butt, because the challenge is in the programming and the design part. So the creativity is still there. You're not taking anything away from that. And I didn't buy this to replace a wood carver. That's not what it's about. It's about doing projects to make money with. I remember years ago being on the job site with some guys from Bagnall Builders in Columbia, South Carolina. We do custom homes. And there was another construction crew around the corner, and they had pneumatic nailers. And guys, we were still out there wearing a nail apron full of 16-penny nails and swinging a hammer. You know? And there's old dudes sitting around a job working with me. They're like, that house, it ain't gonna last. Those nail guns aren't any good. Well, guess what? You know, their thing was, I come back 15 years from now, that house will fall down. And that sounds crazy, but look, man, just don't shy away from technology. I mean, I still use like planes, but also have a planer. I also use, I have a block plane, but I'll go over there and use that DeWalt planer in a heartbeat. It all depends on the job. And number two, it does depend on the job, but it also depends on the budget, on making money. Because I tell you, time is money, money's time. And so, you know, the Hula Girl here, hey, don't be knocking on the Hula Girl, because she makes me money. Oh, I wanted to show you this over here. PVC is your friend. Dials, pieces of trim and everything, I just keep them in PVC. Here's some inlay. Just keep all string inlay. Yeah, I kind of keep all that stuff in PVC boxes like that, or PVC tubes. It's great. Works out real well. There's another little block plane. There's all my welding gear. I'm not much of a welder. Okay, here it is. Every shop, you really, really, really need a dust collection system. Oh my gosh. You know, dust can be real dangerous, and you don't want to breathe that crap in. And it's also flammable. So this is just an old Grizzly dust system. It was plugged in, and I kind of changed it up and just hardwired it. And so I just flipped that switch. This may look like a broom to some people, but this turns into a remote. You know, so if you have to cut it on, and you got stuff in the corner and you can't reach the on and off switch, yeah, broom works too, or a remote. And of course, I just got PVC running up. Get this light off. Okay, just have PVC running up for me here. And my tube just kind of sticks over here like this. And kind of roll it up, throw it in the corner over there. Hey, let's talk about shop lights real quickly. I just wanted to, one of the things that just did not have much lighting in here at first. And so every week I just went by and got these LED lights from Lowe's or Walmart, who had them on special, you know. And it was like 35, 45 bucks for a light. And they're LED, super bright, last a long time. I did have one go out, so they don't last forever. But it lasts a long time. A lot of lumens, a lot of light in here. So the more light, the better. Okay, so awesome. Hey, here's something that's real cool. You know, not all the time do you have to buy your stuff. I was remodeling somebody's bathroom. A guy made these cabinets. They are cherry cabinets. This is a cherry cabinet. They didn't want it anymore. So I took it home, put it on casters. It did have soft closed drawers on it, but I took the slides off. But you know, this is where I keep like my router bits. You know, all kind of stuff in there. You always got to have storage. Just an old. This is probably the next thing I want to upgrade in my shop. And this drill press. It's kind of wanky, you know. It just kind of wah 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 wah. Does yours go wah 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 like that? Oscillating thing. Oh my gosh, another Harbor Freight tool. The horrors. Okay. Hey, you know, these this little belt sander and disc sander, I don't use them that much. I really don't. And I had one, and then I sold it, and then I needed it for another little project, so I went and paid like less than $100 for this one, and so I'll probably just keep it around. And it works. I don't have to spend mega bucks for something like that I use once every 6 months or so. Don't do it, okay? If I don't use it at least 12 times a year, I don't pay the big bucks for it. I just go with a Harbor Freight tool. If something I use every day, yeah, I'm going to pay up. I'm going to get the nicest thing out there, okay? So Harbor Freight is okay. You ain't got to apologize. Hey, talking about dust filtration system, another piece that I bought is this wind filtration system. And of course, now this one does have a remote. It does have a remote and not a broom handle. And so this thing's got a filter. Of course, it filters the air in, especially when you're doing sanding. And even though I have my sanders and everything hooked up, there are these fine dust particles that kind of float around. And this thing really was like $100. I know you can buy Jet and all kind of name brand ones that, I don't know, they maybe you can buy Jet or whatever, and it's probably better. But for me, $100, this one does the task. And so, guys, please, okay, make sure you take care of yourself. All right, don't be breathing in that sawdust. It's good, but not to breathe in. There's another little short storage for wood up here. Kind of like all the little hobby wood and stuff. Some zebra wood, some other types of wood up here. Just kind of up and out of the way. Small pieces so I can keep an eye on it. Here's all my disc sanders. I have that. Just a little 1/4 dowels. Just kind of trace that up there. I just use painter's tape, and that way if I ever change the side, like this is really 600, not 800 anymore. But it's okay. We won't tell. All right, here we go. We're getting close. So like I said, it's only 300 something square feet, so it didn't take long to do a tour of the micro shop. Here's another corner. This is kind of like my drag racing corner. And neon sign and old hubcap, Florida tags, and Big Daddy Garland, Swamp Rat Alley. Here's some old pictures. Here's me standing next to Big Daddy. Check out the mullet. Don't be judging me. Here's me with Big Daddy Garland. This is just a cabinet that I keep some of my CNC tools in and things like that, and kind of keep that going over there. But you gotta love drag racing. Yeah, I really love drag racing and some of some of the old school stuff, and that's why I like some of this racing memorabilia in the shop, because it reminds me of days of Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! Blaney Drag Strip, Blaney, South Carolina! Top Fuel Funny Cars, Ed the Ace McCullough takes on Don the Snake Perdone Sunday! Watch them as they wheel their death machines down the quarter-mile of destruction and shake hands with the devil Sunday! Cha-Cha Shirley Modowney takes on Big Daddy Don Garlis as they wheel their nitro dragsters down the suicide quarter-mile Sunday! Blaney Dragster, Blaney, South Carolina, will say the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge Sunday! All right, here we're making the past the drag racing museum part, and look up top here. I've got a whole bunch of clamps. I don't have the clamps. I got a whole bunch of clamps up here that I have hanging from the floor joist, and of course then over here on the wall, you'll see more clamps. Get this old nail keg that I've got old scrap wood in, and of course more clamps. Can't imagine that. Here's an old cabinet I made one time. You know, it's just, I really don't use it. And last but not least, here it is. Here's the lumber yard. You know, I'll say this about my lumber. Most of the time, these are like this piece of cherry here. It's something I bought. But most of the time, it's just, here's some old wormy chestnut. It's things that I just salvage or pick up or somebody's throwing away. I've even got sheets of, the local high school was redoing their basketball floor, and I've got some old parquet flooring back there. I've got pieces of piano and just somebody, hey, can you make something? And so just different things like that all through my shop. One last thing about the shop here. When I first moved in here years ago, like I said, just start where you are. As you can see, it's still gravel floor in 1/3 of it. When I first started working here, I had pallets, and I had just, it was very, very, very makeshift. And I had pallets with my table saw on it. The table saw you don't see in here today. I've got the miter saw, and of course it's on a rolling stand, and I just kind of been moving around while we've been filming. And I also have a table saw, a DeWalt table saw that I've got another video about, and it's real good, and the legs fold up on it, and so that kind of tucks up out of the way. It's on a job site getting some work done. So hey guys, that's it. That is the micro shop in a nutshell. And so my big advice to you is start where you are, and but just start. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be right, because it kind of evolves into something great. You know, hey, cool deal. So here we are. Thanks for asking about the micro shop. Here it is. You saw it. Got some other suggestions about some videos coming up on building a home, a kiln to dry your wood and different things like that. So keep those suggestions coming. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and with the notification bell. And hey, thanks again for watching the Sawdust Dude. I'll see you real soon. Sunday!